Hello, and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 85. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and the true hero of the storm himself, Ted Libby.
Heroes of the Dorm.
Did you make
It's
that up?
Heroes of the Dorm. No, that was a great series.
Heroes of the Dorm, the best named esports tournament ever.
I don't know
When
about
Blizzard
that.
was good, back
Yeah,
in the day, they would host these college tournaments.
Wow.
Heroes of the Dorm was one of them. They had a Hearthstone one, and so it was like
called
weekly.
like the Hearthstone Collegiate Tour. It was
Yeah,
not
it was not Heroes of the Dorm. Yeah,
as Heroes of the Dorm.
Heroes of the Dorm is pretty good. That's cool.
it was pretty nice.
Well, that's great that we're talking about Blizzard so early. Because this is the 85th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Once a week, we Discord over 500 miles to talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. But this week, something big happened. Something so big. It actually didn't happen this week. It happened like 2 weeks ago, but I had a housing crisis. I got moved out, but I'm here to record the show, people, okay? I'm here.
We're literally just here to record the show.
I'm literally just in this room to record this show. And then I'm going to
we're recording here at 11 a.m. His house is just getting fumigated. That's why it's dark.
Yeah, I'm in a tent right now.
That's why the window's cracked right now.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about Microsoft buying motherfucking Activision for just a cool $68 billion. You know? Just a cool $68 billion.
68.7, which I think you can round up to 69.
69 billion.
69. You know, if the price keeps going up, they will have to pay that. Stock price.
But before we start even talking about that, James, I have bad news for you and one of your predictions. Mm-hmm. Valve has announced that the Steam Deck order date is February 25th. So if you reserve the console,
that's what you can buy.
And any order placed on the 25th will ship on the 28th, is what they are confirming.
True.
So we'll see. But your prediction looking a little shaky.
We'll see.
James's package is going to get lost in the mail. He's going to argue half points.
I'm Q2, so that's not till April.
Okay.
So if they don't get something that arrives in March, then
I mean, you said it was going to be pushed out, so we'll see.
True. But I didn't say which one would get pushed out.
I fucking hate you. It's not your personal
order. I'm not. Yeah, Q2 can get pushed out. My order can get pushed out.
That's fair. Are you excited for the Steam Deck?
Oh, I am. Yeah. I've even like looked at stuff. I was like, this would work so well if I could play it handheld, like a game I'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am looking forward to comparing it to the OLED Switch because they're the same exact screen size, and so I want to see how much better an OLED screen is versus what the Steam Deck has, which is not an OLED screen. It's like what the regular Switch has.
Right.
So. And then the firepower. It's crazy when I look at that price and what they're promising. So we'll see what it does.
It's got a lot more firepower than a Switch in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's $50 more. So it's crazy.
That is crazy. You know what else is crazy, James? On January 18th, this comes from the Microsoft News Center. Microsoft will acquire Activision Blizzard for $95 per share in an all-cash transaction valued at $68.7 billion, inclusive of Activision Blizzard's net cash. When the transaction closes, Microsoft will become the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony. The planned acquisition includes iconic franchises from the Activision, Blizzard, and King Studios like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. In addition to global esports activities through Major League Gaming, the company has studios around the world with nearly 10,000 employees. Bobby Kotick will continue to serve as CEO of Activision Blizzard, and he and his team will maintain their focus on driving efforts to further strengthening the company's culture and accelerate business growth once the deal closes. The Activision business will report to Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming. That's a brand new title for Phil Spencer. Gaming is the most dynamic and excellent category in entertainment across all platforms today, and will play a key role in the development of the metaverse platforms, said Satya Nadella, chairman and CEO of Microsoft. We're investing deeply in the world-class content, community, and the cloud to usher in a new era of gaming that puts players and creators first and makes gaming safe, inclusive, and accessible for all. Players everywhere love Activision Blizzard games, and we believe the creative teams have their best work in front of them, Phil Spencer said, CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Together, we will build a future where people can play games they want, virtually anywhere they want. So, we woke up on Monday, January 18th, before my house was flooded. to this news? What did you think of Microsoft buying Activision? Ted, I want to start with you. And we're going to have an open Discord.
Insane. So this is, I believe, the largest cash transaction in the history of the United States.
Yes. This is half of Microsoft's cash.
Yeah. It's only like 2 or 3% of the company's total worth.
Yeah.
But it's still like
half their
biggest,
cash. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest transaction ever recorded in United States history. It was previously what I should know. 2K bought.
Oh, 2K bought Zynga, yeah, for $12.4 billion
with a B.
Which is also recent.
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
And that was like a new bar. That was like, holy crap! Like that's so much money. And then this comes out and just adds a 0 to the end of that.
Yeah.
It's insane. That's so much money.
It's a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And it's also Activision. Like, I think that's the bigger thing, is it's not just like Bethesda was big. They just bought fucking Activision.
Yeah.
James, what do you think about it?
I think I want to be on like the negative side, but also I'm happy it happened because, I just don't get how you don't trigger a lot of antitrust and anti-monopolization, which I think they're gonna go into. But they are so confident, like hearing Phil Spencer, hearing how they talk, they are so confident this is gonna go through that it makes me think like maybe it isn't as big as I'm thinking it is. To me, that price tag should alert everyone to like investigate this and like figure out how it's going to change the market. I think with this acquisition, Microsoft shoots to the very top, and of course, like we say, Tencent, but
Tencent and Sony is what they said, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you can like this. I think bumps you above Sony, so basically second.
Yeah, it's complicated because Microsoft has been saying that they'll still be third, but that evaluation was made when a game like Call of Duty was available on the PlayStation, which theoretically could not be the case now.
And we're going to talk about Call of Duty later. I have some stuff on Call of Duty later, so we'll get to that other big topic. But
it's crazy.
Microsoft's now in mobile pretty big if they win with this acquisition with a lot of that IP. I mean, Call of Duty Mobile.
They own Candy Crush.
They own Candy Crush.
My favorite Windows game.
It's everybody's game of the year 2022.
I don't. Do you think Phil oversees this as well? Like Umbrellas. I mean, it's huge. Like it's basically like two companies becoming one kind of thing.
Yeah, it sounds like he will oversee all of this. Yeah, so we can talk about Bobby Kotick too, because it sounds like he is going to leave once this transaction happens.
Yeah.
And once it's the official.
Good riddance.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God.
And James,
we should briefly go over this company's history, right? Because Activision was kind of it was there at the beginning. They were the ones buying out teeny tiny companies in the late 70s. It was down in the dumps when CEO Bobby Kotick bought it in like 1991 or something. And then he, with the help of other kind of like consumer experts, turned it into this annualized game machine that took the world by storm with games like Call of Duty, where every year they're going to come out with a new one and it's going to sell $1 gazillion, and then they will just keep doing that.
But now it won't be annualized.
Well,
who knows?
I guess, yeah.
I don't think it will either. But like I said, I want to talk about Call of Duty later because I think that's a topic unto itself, right?
Yeah.
It is a section of this that is so big and bigger than anything that is just Activision.
Gaming.
I think what is really cool about this is that now they own so many different studios that were basically becoming support studios. Activision was, Vicarious Visions, who was making, all of the Crash Bandicoot stuff. And I think
they made the new Tony Hawk.
They made the new Tony Hawk, and after they made the new Tony Hawk and it did very well, they pushed him into a support studio for Treyarch and Raven. And High Moon Studios, which is actually like 2 miles from the street of me, they were an actual gaming studio that now just makes Call of Duty maps. And so I think what's really cool with this new deal is Microsoft doesn't need to annualize Call of Duty or make 15 studios make Call of Duty. They can now have these studios make other games for Game Pass.
Who knows?
No, but they can. They have that option. They
have the option,
Yeah, and it should be stated that Activision's in hot water right now.
Right. We've talked a lot about that on the show, yeah.
Yeah, we previously talked about the discussions about like workplace discrimination, and since then there has been a strike at one of their support studios over in Madison, Wisconsin. It's Ravensoft.
The testers.
The QA
testers got together to try and unionize like 30 of them, and then they're like, actually, we don't recognize you. So
Yeah.
now they want to put
Yeah.
it to a vote for all of them.
Yeah, so there is dissent. And then
Already.
just generally speaking, the newest Call of Duty was not well liked. A lot of Activision's moneymakers are kind of getting a little bit stale, and then similarly, a lot of Blizzard games are either getting negative press or are kind of falling into this stale, repetitive category. So I have a hunch that things are doing a lot worse than Activision is letting on, which is why they were all the leadership was looking to just bail, as opposed to fix their.
I mean, you bail for this price tag, so it's like, even if they were
exactly.
like, that's a good price tag to bail.
Yeah, I think the estimated thing is that Bobby Kotick will get $400 million from this deal on his shares, and then another $230 million just for leaving of a corporate takeover. That's in his contract. That if he's outed on a corporate takeover, he'll get 230 something million.
Well, yeah, I think he was trying to be a Bobby billionaire.
Yeah,
so
he's pretty close.
Probably gonna, I think he's almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's kind of two roads, like we were talking about. There is this antitrust, almost like monopolization of what gaming is probably going to become, and we're starting to maybe see the first step of that about Microsoft acquiring publishers and bigger stuff. When does Ubisoft maybe get bought by someone? I think that's now on the table, especially as Ubisoft becomes more and more begrudged by employees and is not doing as well as it used to. I think that's something to kind of keep in mind. But I also think it's exciting because Activision was such down in the dumps, and all of these employees had no faith in the company. Game quality was down, and Phil Spencer is a guy that, in my opinion, I'd trust him with studios. He knows what he's doing. He helped make Psychonauts 2 into a Game of the Year contender by giving Double Fine time. He knows a game that is great, and he's able to pursue that. And I think that's exciting with what this acquisition means.
I sort of disagree. I think that if you're going to buy the Activision Blizzard for this much money, you want results. Something in Activision's pipeline has to deliver a profit for them eventually. This can't be a money sink for the sake of art or for the sake of...
They bought Call of Duty!
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, Call of Duty should be annualized to keep that money train going. My first thought when I heard about this was like, what happens to World of Warcraft? Xbox's own World of Warcraft. And the answer is nothing. It's just going to keep going. They're going to keep making expansions, and they're going to keep making money from people.
Do you think World of Warcraft is part of Game Pass? Because I do.
I think that... yes. I think that all or some of it. I could see some kind of the classics are kind of like a privileged status, maybe all of them except for the most recent expansion pack, something along those lines. But also if they just gave World of Warcraft subscribers Game Pass, that gets them into the ecosystem, which is all what Microsoft wants. Yeah. And so who knows necessarily? I know World of Warcraft has really transitioned away from subscriber accounts and they've really started selling in-game items, and that's kind of what the people who are spending money in World of Warcraft are doing, is buying cool mounts and cool trinkets.
We think this might be just a totally tangent topic, but with a game like World of Warcraft that's been out for 20 years now, somewhere around there.
Yeah, pretty much.
When does that game just kind of be left to its own devices and the people that are in it are buying shit and going? And at what point does Microsoft really now be like, we got to keep World of Warcraft alive? I know it makes a shitload of money still, but it's not as vibrant as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, there are video games out there with server counts of in the less than 100 people, and those developers will keep them alive.
Yeah.
And then there are games where drops under 1 million, under 100,000, they nix it. And so apparently World of Warcraft is doing the worst it's ever done. I read an article that said it was under 1 million, but that sounds a little suspect.
That seems right.
That could be though.
Yeah.
I definitely see a lot of people not playing it.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'll play it. It might just be that this gets, there's an expansion pack in the pipeline, so we might see 2, maybe 4 years out of World of Warcraft, and then they kind of sink it into the archive process. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking, is this is just a whole bunch of stuff for Microsoft to put in their catalog.
Absolutely.
They don't need to make a new Blizzard game. They can just have StarCraft as just available
on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there isn't too much going on right now that a lot of people are excited about in terms of esports or new updates hitting, like Hearth. Yeah, and this has a lot to do with Activision's conduct, but Hearthstone is in a very strange place right now. Not a lot of people are too into the competitive scene there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I think they bought this for mobile games and for Call of Duty, and then just to have a backlog.
Yeah, and I think they bought it for Blizzard IP. I think that there is still very valuable IP that you make a sequel or a spinoff or something of Overwatch, and people are going to buy it. I mean, and I think that's.
Even in the Activision IP, because there's a lot of stuff there that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Activision games that we've all forgotten, like
Guitar Hero,
Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk. Yeah. These are all just low-key Activision games. Spyro.
Yeah. And Phil Spencer has said recently that he plans to dive back into the Activision catalog. Like that is a thing that he is already mulling over.
Say that.
He's like, I'm ready, and I would.
I think that's just to appease people.
I don't know, dude. I mean,
people get really excited when you mention their game that hasn't been looked at for 20 years.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the ex-employees who've left Blizzard, started their own companies? Like, there's a bunch. There's probably dozens. I can't even think of them all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about them coming back and releasing their games through Xbox or like
I don't think they will.
You think they'll just stay independent and release through Steam?
I can't remember the names of the companies right now. A lot of StarCraft people left to make their own RTS.
I saw that. It just got fundraised like by 22 million.
And those people probably left to have a more creative, smaller team environment. I don't think that it was just Activision shitty practices that was keeping them away, and that they want to re-envelop into a mega corporation.
I think that helped though. Like the shitty practices, like we're like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That definitely helped.
And all this bad press helped Activision get bought. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay, I want to dive into now Bobby Kotick. Good old Bobby. Very briefly. According to a report from Polygon by Nicole Carpenter, it remains unclear, this was also on January 18th, it remains unclear that what Kotick's position at Activision Blizzard, if he still has one, will be after the proposed buyout is complete. The companies say that only Kotick will remain CEO through Microsoft's 2023 fiscal year, which ends January 30th, 2023. Also, it is worth saying that this deal will not be closed for probably a year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is here for a very long time in kind of perpetuity. Kotick told the New York Times that he will be available as needed after the closing. A new Wall Street Journal report Tuesday, which would be the 19th, citing sources familiar with the deal, says that the company have agreed that Kotick will leave once the deal closes. If he is no longer with Activision afterward, his employee contract calls for him to receive a severance package of worth nearly $293 million should he lose his job to a corporate takeover, according to financial documents. There you
Golden parachute.
No shit. Matt, I want that contract in mind for the Side Escape company. If you two take over, $300 million. Yeah.
You're getting $2.93.
All that ad revenue.
Take it.
Yeah. Bobby's gone. This guy's...
Bobby's gone.
There's no chance.
There's no way Phil Spencer's like, I'd love to work with you.
Bobby's name taints the well.
I think it's very interesting, this whole, just Phil Spencer's relationship to this, because like 3 weeks earlier, he kind of talked about reevaluating their relationship to Activision. Yeah. Xbox mentioned that, he was like...
How am I going to reevaluate it? Let me just buy them out.
And they bought it.
Yeah. So from what I understand, this was all negotiated within the past 2 months, November and December, and it was personally negotiated by him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was Phil Spencer on the phone with top Activision people getting this deal together.
Crazy. Yeah.
It is nuts. I'm very fascinated to see, once this deal closes, how quickly everything dumps to Game Pass. We saw Bethesda go very fast of just like, we have 30 new Bethesda titles.
So this actually might be an interesting holdup because, and this we can kind of talk about antitrust a little bit here, because Battle.net has its own social services. You have your own Battle.net account with your Battle.net name, and that will now need to get integrated into Xbox, which could be a really cool thing because, in my opinion, the Battle.net system is one of the better kind of friends lists and stuff like that. So maybe they could learn and integrate that into Xbox. Or on the complete flip side, you just type in your Activision details into an Xbox converter website, and then Battle.net is dead, and you now have to log in through the Xbox app.
Yeah,
could go either way.
I think it would be similar to the system that Warzone has, where it combines Battle.net, Activision, Xbox, and PlayStation in one, and so it'll be like a migration. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I would imagine that this is the death of BattleNet.
Well, I wonder how
that
how they're going to hold the
service.
How are they going to hold the integrity of people owning? I wonder if they're going to honor that. Like they'll check your BattleNet accounts and then they'll honor like I own Diablo 3. Are they going to add that to my Xbox account or something like that?
Conversion system.
That would be great. And so just thinking of that though, that's going to take a long time.
And that's always go horribly wrong, by the way. Every time that happens,
forever.
Yeah.
That's not a smooth transition.
There are lots of people who were happy with just using BattleNet, and that will probably change forever for them.
I think that you're going to see this as a slow death of BattleNet, but I think for a while it'll be like what happens with EA Play and what else is the
it'll launch through. Yeah,
through
it just launches through. Yeah, that's exactly how.
That's what I think you'll see for a long time, and I definitely think Microsoft is still. They still sell all their games. Like, you don't have to play Game Pass. And so...
Exactly. That's the thing.
They'll be on Steam.
It's great about it.
Battle.net. And they may just have multiple storefronts. But no, this is a purchase for Game Pass and the longevity of Game Pass. I really believe that.
Yeah.
So we should talk about Call of Duty. Because that's the golden goose that they bought this for, right? I mean, at the end of the day. So I wanted to talk about Call of Duty for a minute because we do talk about how Call of Duty is kind of... becoming lackluster. However, NPD for 2021 came out just as this deal kind of happened, which I thought was really funny. So NPD is kind of the total sales numbers throughout the year of 2021. So this is for all games, best-selling games last year. So number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So that was the last year's version of, that was the second best-selling game.
This year.
Madden 2022, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl, Shining Pearl, whatever that was. The Pokemon remakes, Ted.
Yep.
Battlefield 2042, which I thought was really interesting. That was the 5th best-selling game of the year. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Mario Kart 8, still holding it strong at number 7.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Resident Evil Village, MLB The Show 21, and Super Mario 3D World. So those are your top 10. So Call of Duty holds the top 2 spots of the year.
Yep.
That's wild to me. Especially after nobody talked about Vanguard. That's how many casual people just pick up Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's somebody that's how it was when I was. It was just it's such a casual, approachable game. Everyone knows Call of Duty, so it's of course you're gonna always buy the new one, even if it's bad.
Yeah, and
just like Battlefield 2042 is up there.
Right, it's got the name brand, and I think that this acquisition now, while they've kind of mentioned that they're going to stay on Sony platforms for the foreseeable future, I think probably till their contract ends with Sony. Call of Duty goes 100% exclusive to Xbox, PC, and it's on Game Pass.
See, and I agree with you that it's going to go on Game Pass, but that seems like a huge amount of revenue lost in it not being $60.
Well, yeah.
Because that just seems like they're cutting the price down by 75% and being like, here's the same thing.
Yeah, but you're also all of these people that are on just PlayStation now have to go to Xbox.
Right.
What's more appealing? So $15 a month to get all these games, or $60 for Call of Duty, or $70.
Right. Oh, I see. So it's still available on PlayStation for full price, but then you can also.
I think it's off PlayStation for the next 3 years. 3 or
I think
4 years.
if it's off PlayStation, I think Microsoft loses money. I could very much see them being like, it's still going to be on PlayStation because you're a casual gamer and we don't expect you to do the research and buy a whole new console for us. You're just going to be mad.
Yeah.
So we're just going to charge you $70 and keep making that money that we were making.
They could do that too. Yeah, that's.
And it is.
We'll see the numbers.
Minecraft was bought by them, and it's still on PlayStation and everywhere. So they didn't make that exclusive. So they have it always.
There must be a metric that they are studying.
Yeah, they'll check the numbers and see.
Yeah, of people who aren't willing to upend their console, right? Because there are people in this world who they bought a console. They're not really sure which one it is, but they just did it because they went to GameStop and that's what they were recommended, and that's just what they do. And they play FIFA and they play Call of Duty, and that's it. And they're not going to put in the effort to research anything deeper.
Right.
And I think Microsoft would be shooting themselves in the foot to suddenly be like, you guys can't. Please buy our boxes that we, take a loss on everyone sold anyway.
Yeah, so maybe
I see a joint agreement. That's what I see.
I'm interested.
Some sort of, but it would have to be like, you do something for us, and then we'll keep providing you Call of Duty. So maybe since Sony is now doing a lot of PC ports, maybe they throw it on Game Pass or a little bit after. I don't know. Could do something there.
Yeah, that is the other thing is Phil Spencer has talked a lot about putting Game Pass on other people's platforms.
Yeah.
I think his wet dream would be to have Game Pass on
No way it goes on Sony.
Do you
no
think? Wait,
way it goes on Sony.
James, what if that's the trade? You could keep Call of Duty on your console, put Game Pass on your console.
Yeah, yeah. They are just building a strong arm campaign to force this to happen.
I don't think they would play that.
I don't know, man. Call of Duty's a big fucking name.
That to me seems that's already breaking some monopolistic laws. If you have Xbox and Sony doing something like that, I don't know if you could do that.
I would argue the opposite. They could argue that this is not some kind of monopoly because there's another company that's not allowing them to sell on their storefront, so they don't have market control.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I think the Call of Duty thing. Well, okay, so this is, I guess, a similar thing with Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever it's going to be called. Elder Scrolls Dagger Trust Wind. I don't know.
Yep.
That's what it's going to be called, right, Ted?
Yep.
Do you think that's exclusive to Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been long enough.
Yeah.
To where people like, I would argue that a majority of people who've played Skyrim don't know it's called the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the Elder Scrolls carries the brand name necessarily, and if it does, it's a sell for Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think if you were calling it Skyrim 2, then maybe you might have enough people being like, I love Skyrim on the PlayStation, and then you might be able to keep it going.
Skyrims.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because I think that could be a similar thing they follow suit if it was going to be on Sony as well.
Yeah. No, Call of Duty seems like the only real contender here for like keeping it available to everyone.
Yeah.
Everything else in the catalog doesn't seem to make that cut and just seems like a good catalog for Game Pass.
And I 100% believe that Blizzard stuff is going to come to Game Pass on console and PC.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I think they're.
Blizzard doesn't have console games like Diablo 3. Absolutely,
yeah.
That'll go on Game Pass and that'll be great.
Overwatch.
So that's one thing I was thinking about.
StarCraft.
Sorry, there's no.
StarCraft.
Like how badly must Overwatch 2 be doing?
Horrible. It must be like a truck on fire.
Yeah, because I wonder if part of this deal is Activision being like, we do not have good news going forward, and so we don't want to take this heat. Like I was really curious. I was discussing this with my cousin. Like if Overwatch 2, for example, gets like a cancel or like a remake, like a Metroid 4 treatment or Metroid Prime 4 treatment of like, this isn't good. We're going back to the drawing board. Just give us more time.
It needs a God of War treatment.
Overwatch 2 is the most confusing thing. It's still Overwatch 1, but there's new heroes, but they might also be available in Overwatch 1.
Because then you have like one less player, and then watching the gameplay when they had like the pros play, it looked so boring and so snowbally. It was awful. Like it was not what it should be. Like it should. It looked less. Like they cut out. It didn't look more.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm curious.
Who knows?
It's still too big of a brand to not make another one of.
Right.
And I think Microsoft comes in and helps with that.
We'll see.
I think it's gonna have to go through like a Halo Infinite kind of hell to come out.
I think it's already in an Halo Infinite kind of hell.
It definitely is already in a Halo Infinite hell, but it's not gonna like be good because it's in a Halo Infinite because there's differing opinions from what I was hearing. Like they weren't letting the original director do what he wanted to do. God, I can't remember his name. Remember
Kaplan?
Yeah, Jeff Kaplan.
Yeah.
Well,
so, and then this new guy's just like, it was just like a yes.
It brings into question, and this is kind of a fun thing.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to see out of Microsoft money behind Activision Blizzard games? Is there anything you're looking for? New Tony Hawk, new Spyro, World of Warcraft 2?
Yeah, well, one thing I am hoping for is the de-annualization of Call of Duty. I think
you're hoping for it?
Yes, because I think Call of Duty used to be great. I mean, honestly, there is 3 or 4 Modern Warfare on World of War and Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Black Ops, like
Modern Warfare 2 on probably.
Yeah, like there were some great Call of Duty games that were interesting. The campaigns were kind of fun. They were different, and I think it got so stagnant that I almost want them to go back and think, how do we make it not like how do we unstagnify? That's not a word, but I'm going to make it one.
Okay.
Like how do we unstagnify?
Stop going back to the past, please.
Right, because that's always the answer, James. That's always what it is, right? Is it Modern Warfare or is it World War II? Where are we at? You know, and like that's all that they do.
I think it's Modern Warfare.
And so I'm kind of curious what they do with Call of Duty. I think that's just such an interesting thing. With Activision, it was very obvious. With Microsoft, I don't think it is.
I'm excited for Master Chief in Call of Duty.
There you go.
That's gonna
he's
be
a
amazing.
skin for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See right. It's like right. Call of Duty. Part of the staleness that we were speaking of has to do with like Activision Blizzard games are kind of turning into skin machines.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of vessels for you to buy John McClane.
Hell fucking yeah, they are, Ted.
Just like tie-ins. And so it's like, do you think Microsoft keeps that kind of energy around, or are they going to be, because like Halo Infinite, for example, I don't think they are selling skins.
Yeah,
they have a storefront. Like, is this going to be the future for this kind of thing of like we pay the subscription and then scales on top?
And probably,
yeah. That's basically going to be it, I think.
I also think there's a lot of promising stuff out of the back catalog, and Blizzard, but Activision purely of just stuff that I think Tony Hawk showed that it was, could come back and be very successful, and then for some reason they just didn't want to make another one. I think we see some Pro Skater-like game. I think we see a little more arcadey stuff because that stuff fits perfectly on Game Pass. That is the type of game where you don't want to spend $60, but fuck, I'll play it on Game Pass because I already pay $15. And I think that is what Microsoft wants is every month they've got 3 new games coming out on Game Pass, and one of them speaks to each of us at this table.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do that now with Spyro. They're going with everything. We are gonna see probably one of all of these old games. Maybe not Guitar Hero because peripherals are what they are, but
I was gonna say I would love to see a Guitar Hero.
I wouldn't be surprised, Ted. I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
Be.
James, what about you?
You know what I'm thinking about is Blizzard had this environment recently where they would have a team work on a project and then they would scrap that project or due to basically piecing out the team and moving it to like other resources, like, oh, we need you to help on Hearthstone, oh, we need you to help on Overwatch, something like that. I wonder how Xbox is going to approach that, because that was how Blizzard worked, and I know Xbox doesn't work like that, but Sony kind of does in the sense that it's like you work on a project and then you go to another project. So I wonder how they're going to put these developers that were like all over the place. Like, yeah, they worked on Overwatch, but also they worked on Hearthstone. How are they going to solidify these teams? Are they going to add some of their own personnel? That's going to be an interesting, like, how that takeover is going to work.
See, yeah, I wonder on that regard too, James, of like how
they moved around.
Yeah, like how do they structure? Like, is Blizzard its still own like company, like that almost operates separately, but they're owned by Microsoft, or are they a studio of like Xbox that like a Sony Santa Monica?
Or I think they're a studio. They're going to become a studio of Xbox.
I would love to see a Sony Santa Monica personally,
and I think that's great news. If they become a studio.
Let them continue doing what they're doing. They show you what they're doing, and then you can be like, "That's shit," and then they change it up, and you make God of War.
Well, and that's the thing that Jeff Schaefer, I remember him talking about. I think it was in a No Clip documentary, but maybe I'm getting it wrong. But he was No Clip's really good.
I love No Clip.
But he was talking about like everyone was so nervous when Microsoft bought Double Fine. But like, oh fuck, they're gonna kill Double Fine. They're gonna take Jeff Schaefer. Like, what are they gonna do? And Jeff Schaefer's like, the reason that we went with Xbox was they were very upfront of like, we want you to be Double Fine, and we just know you don't have the capital to run your own business like the way you want to. Yep. And Jeff Schaefer said it was great because we no longer had to deal with HR.
You mean Tim Schaefer?
Yeah, why, Jeff Schaefer. Who's that?
Jeff Kaplan.
Jeff Kaplan. That's where I'm getting.
We're talking about Jeff Kaplan.
Tim Schaefer. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, Tim Schaefer, and he was talking about. I'm definitely crossed two names together.
Tim have like a brother who owns the company.
You don't know Jeff Schaefer? Come on, bro.
I guess I know. Maybe there could be a Jeff Schaefer.
Tim Schaefer, and he really like they didn't want to deal with the payroll, the HR, all of these other issues that you don't think about when running a company. They were just able to make games. And we saw that in Psychonauts 2 being, very well received and very polished. And I think that now, hopefully, Blizzard gets that treatment. And other companies like follow suit. And I think that's awesome. Imagine if Infinity War got to make a game that wasn't Call of Duty. What other shooter do they have? I think there's some excitement there, too, that maybe these studios...
Yeah, I'd be excited if Blizzard kept their name. And it'd be Blizzard, a Microsoft company, or something like that. And then that holds a lot of weight.
I think so too.
It's too big of a name. Yeah. I think there's a lot of promise here. And I agree. We're going to hear so much about it for the next year and some change about what's happening.
And it's exciting.
It is.
We should probably touch briefly on the antitrust business.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they're going to run into any hot water?
No.
I think it's this deal is like they can counter anything that is going to be said. They're fully prepared. Will it get some hot water? Yeah, of course. They're gonna like investigate it as they do any deal.
Yeah.
But you'll see like some stuff because recently Nvidia was gonna buy out ARM, and that got a lot of flack. And now Nvidia is quietly like backing out of buying ARM, and I feel like they weren't like totally set. This deal right now, I can see Microsoft being totally set and winning. They are not prepared to lose this.
The announcement and the way they did it
Yeah.
was so big and like it's ours that like it feels really weird that they wouldn't be prepared for all of that kind of.
They are prepared for a big legal battle, and I don't see anything like it would be Tencent, I guess, that would probably sue. I don't feel like Sony would bother with this.
No, it wouldn't be
but
one
I feel like
company suing
I feel like
another.
Tencent.
It would just be the
No, they
antitrust
could.
regulatory
No,
agency.
I was like, another company could sue for this is antitrust
Yeah.
if they don't agree with the SEC ruling too. So I can see like another.
Well, that would be kind of weird because Sony, if Sony, for example, sued
Sony would.
Microsoft, could just say they don't want to put their games on our platform. It's not our choice at all.
So Sony wouldn't sue, but Tencent could to be like, hey, actually, this company is too big for you to buy in. That puts you at.
Yeah, I there's been a lot of talk about this back and forth, and it's really fascinating kind of what anti-regulatory agencies are looking at necessarily. Because there's a whole bunch of concepts of like, if Microsoft gets too big,
it's split up.
No, if they get too big, they can take losses. They can just not make money until Sony runs out of business, right? Like they can take losses more than Sony can take losses. So they can kind of like muscle out competition that way, which is something that I wasn't thinking about.
Yeah.
And obviously Microsoft, we're talking about Microsoft. Microsoft operates and owns Windows, the thing that all three of us are using right now. And
I'm on Linux actually.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
I have a Mac OS on my PC.
Hackintosh, nice.
Yeah.
I love using Safari.
Yeah.
But like that, like Microsoft is absolutely ginormous, and they've gotten in trouble before.
Yeah.
Like in the late 90s, they got into trouble with antitrust. They're one of the few tech companies that have actually, got slapped on the wrist.
Yeah.
Because they were going to say the only internet is Internet Explorer, and that's the end of it.
So they know.
But to counteract that whole idea is like Microsoft or Windows claims to be an open platform. Like their argument against like they run the system is like PlayStation can absolutely put their games on Windows. We're not going to stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I don't see Sony doing anything about that. But
Sony's just my go-to competitor. There are tons of other companies, but
the price tag for it though is just shocking.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why this triggers a lot of like flags.
I think
we'll start. Price tag.
I think we'll start seeing the ripple effect in game purchases. And this is Rob Zacny from Vice Gaming who brought this up. I was reading an article of his and it was fascinating of like, do you guys think Game Pass being what it is, Game Pass now being Call of Duty and Halo, do you think that will start discouraging people from buying games to a point where indies start saying like people just don't buy games anymore?
People will always buy games.
You think?
Yeah, I even had this thought recently because recently I had a Switch, and it's like, man, it's really easy to just buy my game on the Nintendo eShop and just download it to my console, and it's great. Like I own it. But that being said, if like I ever have to like switch my console or like it doesn't work anymore, then I don't really own it. It's gone. It's that digital. But I can go and
Nintendo
own the
is the worst about that.
Yeah, but I can go and own a physical cartridge, I guess. And that's a tangible item of a game. So I feel like people always will want something tied to like a tangible item.
You can go into a Walmart and buy discs, video games on discs that you put into your console and they just do not work.
Yeah, Nintendo might be the only example where that isn't the case because that's just the cart. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only item I guess is physical. But in terms of like you not always having that game, because Game Pass games rotate, except for their own games, I guess. But people always buy these indie games.
Yeah. Like the issue in this case would be their own first-party games. Yeah.
And there's non-DRM sites like GOG where you can just buy the game and it doesn't even matter. You don't even need to have the platform to run it. Mm-hmm. You will have a... So that's why it doesn't... I don't think... But that being said, how many people are buying games on like Game Pass? And like maybe they're going to encourage that. Like, hey, if you buy our game on this... Like if you just buy it to own it, we'll give you this price or something like that, or this incentive.
They do that. Any game that's on Game Pass gets an automatic 10% discount or something like that.
Yeah.
So similar to what Epic does then, because that's already what Epic is doing.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, it is safe. We just went through the MPD numbers, and not one Microsoft exclusive was on there. Yeah. And Forza Horizon had the biggest.
That's because everyone's getting it through Game Pass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like, but nobody's buying.
How do you quantify that? Yeah.
Nobody's buying Forza. They're all just getting Game Pass instead. Is that what
yeah. I mean, I would assume. But I mean, it wasn't even on the top 10. It was behind Mario.
That's why I'm telling you, they're gonna raise that price.
Well, I think you're right. I think especially after this, it's gonna go to 20. I do think I want to talk a little bit about what we think of Game Pass going forward, and is this the future of the Netflix for gaming? And obviously we're gonna find out about what Sony's Spartacus is in a little bit, and how you feel about this kind of subscription-based model overpaying for games and the rotating nature. I mean, that's what this is going to become.
Yeah.
We are going to have 6 different platforms that all stream games to our TV.
Right.
And how we feel about that, obviously, it's going to change a lot of stuff. Like we said, indies might lose a little steam and clout. So, are you worried about that?
Well, they'll still be on Steam, but
that's true.
Well, they could still be on Game Pass as well.
That's true too. Yeah.
We'll see. For me, I'm kind of biased in that I kind of don't really play a lot of other parties' games anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, 2 weeks ago, we had our predictions episode where I forgot that Ubisoft had a subscription service where I could have just played Ubisoft or Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that too.
And it's like, oh right, like duh. And like there are people, plenty of them, who play Ubisoft games. That's what they do. That they play like Ubisoft, like they play Far Cry, they play and that's just a thing. And I'm just not in that world, so I'm a little bit biased. It could be this kind of where we're at with streaming services, where you're like, I don't want to pay for 6, so I'll just pick 3.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Yeah.
It might just be we might live in a world where everybody gets eaten up by a subscription service one way or another.
Well, Ubisoft is going to join Xbox Game Pass soon. That's been this huge rumor that's been circulating for months.
Yeah, right. And then the Game of the Year has been available. The EA Play game has been available on Game Pass, so you can play the Game of the Year through Game Pass.
Yeah,
thanks too.
And so it might be we see a couple mega corporations fighting for the subscription services of smaller corporations.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get game cable.
I know.
Yeah, pretty much. We're kind of getting to a game cable.
Yeah. Yep. My final question before we talk about what we've been playing. Sony, they are Microsoft's big competitor in this space. What do they do? How do they counter it? Are they going to do a huge purchase? Are they going, because they bought like smaller studios, like we saw Housemarque, who made Returnal, like they bought them. They bought Bluepoint recently, which are small studios, but nothing compared to Bethesda or Activision.
They also got inadvertently hurt by this deal. Like when this deal was announced, their stock dropped
20% or something. It was big.
That's pretty annoying, I'd say, for them. I wouldn't be too happy about that. Maybe I would make a play. Maybe they already have some plays. Maybe you buy Square. Maybe you buy some other stuff.
No, I don't. I really don't think so.
I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something huge come from them.
I think
Nintendo does nothing. That's where.
I think
they release Pokemon Arceus Legends real soon, James.
I think they do release that. That's what they do. They got that covered.
No, I think Sony needs to get a subscription service to match Game Pass in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here at this project's coming.
Yeah, they need to turn PlayStation Plus into like a PlayStation.
Totally.
PlayStation games. That definitely needs to happen, but I don't think they need to make any large purchases. Just because I don't think they have the facilities to handle suddenly getting thousands of new people and then trying to tell them to like make 10 out of 10 art games, because Sony can't bet on buying Square Enix and then having the games they were making fail, not with the PlayStation brand on them.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like PlayStation, like when I say PlayStation exclusive, you think 9s out of 10s and 10s out of 10s.
There's a high caliber brand to that rather than Xbox.
Imagine if Sony bought Square Enix's Avengers and then that came out. Suddenly the well is tainted.
And it would have gotten better.
Suddenly Sony exclusives are...
You know what, Ted? I want them to buy Square now. Make it better, Jesus Christ.
Make a good Avengers game.
You see what I mean, though? Suddenly, like, Sony exclusive games are hit or miss, and they cannot afford to have their $1 million, their art pieces.
You say that, but they definitely missed on stuff. It's like it's not like they can never miss. Yeah, I understand like what you're getting. It's like they do have premium, but I mean they've released products that have not hit, or they released products on different platforms that have not worked out.
Yeah.
We had the very famous Dream that came out.
Dreams, yeah.
And Dreams and oh boy. But yeah, like you could have something like you're fully invested in and it did not work out. And
yeah.
I can see
I don't
them
think
doing something, but I don't know what.
I don't think Sony can afford to spend
a lot.
They
can't do it.
Dollars in the billions category to buy game studios to then have them flop or miss or anything like that.
I think Square Enix is the only one that I think that I wouldn't be shocked if Square Enix was purchased.
And there's a whole going before Microsoft bought Activision, I would have said Microsoft will buy Sega. Because they seem really like...
Oh, that would be a great purchase.
But like, maybe Japanese companies aren't willing to deal like that. So who knows? But I would say if Sony were to do anything, they would start buying Japanese companies. Like if Sony bought Capcom, that would be a pretty...
That'd be great.
That'd be pretty like if Monster Hunter, if that became a PlayStation exclusive, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I really don't see them. I don't see them taking the time now to make giant bets with their company's cash.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. That is true though. It's a very different model than Xbox has going for it.
I think Sony will. Man, I don't want to make a prediction now, but I feel like Sony will buy a Japanese company this year, a Japanese game company.
Who knows? I don't know anything about Japanese business culture. It could be that Capcom is like in the red, but they just refuse. They're just going down with the ship. We just don't know.
They need to buy Konami.
We know how Bobby Kotick's brain works.
I don't think they can afford Konami. Konami's huge.
God, they're so big because of the gambling bullshit.
Yeah. Buying Konami's game properties might be on the table. Who knows?
They use their game properties for their gambling, so you'd have to buy it all.
Yeah.
I was going to go play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD on my Xbox, and I had it in my wish list forever, and I was like, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm playing these fucking games. Go to buy them. There's a licensing issue, and so they're no longer on sale.
Oh my God.
Because the 20 years was up on some footage used in Metal Gear Solid.
If you bought them, I bet if you bought them on disc, you could still put them into your Xbox and play them.
I have a Series S. There's no disc drive.
Oh shit!
I thought about that. I looked up the 360 game, and it was like $20, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Activision, Microsoft? I know we're going to talk about this so much this year, but I wanted to talk to you guys about it.
Looking forward to more news.
Me too.
I'm excited for it. Yeah, I think this is new life. At least I'm more of the Blizzard side of things, but I think this will hopefully breathe new life into games that I grew up with in a way that it is different than the way it's been going. Because
so for us growing up, it was like really hard to get into games because it's expensive as all hell. You had to like pay $60 to get this game, or we did have rentals. You can go rent it for a week. But now with like you paying $15 a month, or maybe it goes up to 20. And you can play like all these games whenever you want. That would have been like a dream as a kid. So I hope this is more approachable to like a younger generation getting into gaming and getting to experience all these titles.
Me too. I'm excited for the back catalog to come to Game Pass too. That's going to breathe a ton of air.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to play every Call of Duty, but that's kind of cool to just have all of that history on a platform.
I know. I feel really bad for anybody who just bought the Call of Duty collection for the $380 that it's currently being sold at or something like that.
I'm excited to play Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1.
Okay.
It's a great game.
Hell yeah.
I like the Call of Duty Finest Hour. That was a classic.
Call of Duty Finest Hour.
You ever play Finest Hour?
The console version of Call of Duty 1, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Call of Duty 1's a great game.
Yeah. Call of Duty 2 is great.
My mom let me play that game. Because she liked that I died. And she said, this is a very important lesson. If you be a soldier, you're going to die.
You're going to die.
Thanks,
Mrs. Libby.
Yep. That is a real thing my mom told me.
I love that.
That sounds like her.
All right, Ted, I want to hear something from you. All right, before we go, Windjammers 2.
Yeah, I want to review this game very briefly because there's not a lot to talk about. In kind of a good way. So Windjammers is 1990s, the Neo Geo arcade cabinet. Comes out with this sport disc throwing game, which is basically Pong, but it's the 90s, so they kind of threw in some like fighting game moves.
Yeah, it looks like volleyball pong.
Yeah, it's Pong. You throw a disc, it bounces. If it hits the other side past your person, you score points. But then also there are different moves, right? Like if you do a fireball, quarter circle button, you'll throw like a curve shot, or you could throw like a lob shot. Pretty basic, but it's Pong with some fun stuff.
Okay.
And .emu acquired the rights, and they recently re-released the original Windjammers on modern consoles. And it was good, but it was like apparently plagued with internet issues. You couldn't really play online.
Oh.
So it looks like what they've done is they've gone from the ground up to make a new Windjammers. That way it kind of works with modern day infrastructure.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Windjammers 2, which came out on Xbox Game Pass and other places end of January, kind of this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing it. And it's really fun, but it's the exact same thing. It's called Windjammers 2, and you load it up, and the artwork is like the in-game art when you're throwing the disc and playing the game. Very fun. It's in full screen, 16:9. The animation top-down looks very good. And then when you go into the menus and all the character select things, terrible.
Really?
It looks like it doesn't look bad, but it looks like they told someone who doesn't draw anime or manga to do their best.
Do your best.
Yeah.
I can't really do this, sir. Do your best.
Yeah, so it really doesn't look that good, but like when you load it up, you get play online is the first option, and then arcade mode, which is like a arcade, like you play 10 different matches against 10 different PC players, and then the last CPU boss is super hard, and that's it. And then when you're done, it says thank you for playing. And then there's a training mode.
Okay.
Or a tutorial, which is just a slideshow of like 9 different slides showing like push the stick to throw forward, spin the stick to throw a curve. It's like super basic. It's not even a real tutorial. It's just like a slideshow. And
Ted, this is very brief. What else does he have on the menu?
That's
it. What do the options have?
That's
nothing?
it.
Okay,
that's the game. There's no skins. There's no unlocks. There's no nothing. You just get to play online, play against your friend, or watch a slideshow.
That's all it needs to be, though.
It should.
What are you expecting out of Windjammers
2? 10 wanted a 40-hour campaign.
I was like, is there some story mode?
No,
God.
I don't think it should be called
harder.
2. I don't think it should
some
be
Streets
called
of Rage Windjammer.
Windjammers Redux or something like that. Anyway, the actual core of the game is a lot of fun, and I can safely say the internet works pretty well.
Oh, nice.
Gotten a lot of fun online matches, which is very cool.
So they just improved Windjammers 1 and called it 2.
Basically, yeah. But
instead of Redux or something.
Exactly. And it's the perfect Game Pass game of like, if you told me this was $20, I would have been really on the fence of like, is this even worth my money or my time? But since it's just free and available, and since it's free and available for everybody, people are playing online, which is super cool. And you can get a match within a few seconds. And like I said, it works.
Oh, very cool.
And it's a fun little ride. I highly recommend checking it out without paying for it.
Windjammers 2 Windjammers Regaled. Not bad.
That would have been a much better name.
Because Galed, like wind.
But you know what? They had the guy who drew the menu also
did the title.
That's the
other thing. How about 2?
That's the other thing is like this game is called Windjammers TM, but like everything in the game refers to it as just like the flying disc competition. Like it's not ever called Windjammers. But then on all of the stages and then like in the arcade mode, when they're doing all of like the, it just says like Flying Disc Championship 2003. Like they're almost leaning into the fact that there's not a lot going on here.
That's weird.
It feels like a Sega Genesis, or not Genesis, like a Sega Dreamcast game or something like that. Like it feels kind of out of place in the other direction.
Weird. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll pass on it.
Yeah, you'll
Game Pass on it.
There it is.
But you know what James isn't passing on? The heart of the cards. Tell me about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes. This last week actually, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel released on everything. You can play it on Switch, you can play it on Steam, you can play it on PlayStation. It's basically everywhere. And this is, I think, gonna be the de facto Yu-Gi-Oh! Game from now on. This is the predecessor to Duel Links, which sucks. It's like a mobile focused, and you'd have to like do all these transactions, and it's a pay to win kind of game to get the cards you want. This game front loads you with gems, which are used to either open packs or craft, or you can open packs, and then from those cards you can dismantle and or craft your own cards, similar to Hearthstone, where you can dust cards and craft cards. So you can play this game and you can get a top tier deck entirely free, which I think is beautiful. So it's like you can, it has a short solo mode. You could play against AI, learn the mechanics that are recent, and there are so many new commands. If you're an old time Yu-Gi-Oh player, this game is mind blowing. I don't understand some of the turns sometimes, but it's fun. So I've learned a lot recently with some friends about the new archetypes and the new styles, and it's been entirely approachable. I haven't spent a single dime, and I have a couple decks that are top tier with all the top tier cards. Decks that would cost probably like 3,000 in real life if I were to build. So it's pretty great.
I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
So you ask the questions?
Yeah. Just hold up my my first question is, because I played a Yu-Gi-Oh game last year.
Legacy of the Duelist, right?
Legacy of the Duelist, which
which is also, I think that's a better game for a casual player.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun in just teaching me how to play and making me realize that there are like 15 years of mechanics that I just was unaware of, to a point where like my head was spinning. How complicated is this? Where are we at in like the Yu-Gi? Is this like how I remember this show being, or are you doing link combos?
There's link combos. That's basically the name of the game. Pendulum summoning was probably what like the last thing that showed you in Legacy of the Duelist.
The fuck
and
is
that
pendulum summoning? I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't.
It's like the very end of Legacy of the Duelist is pendulum summoning, and it was like
Legacy of the Duelist ended with Link. Something to do with links.
Oh, was Link late? I don't know which one was latest. Was Pendulum before Link?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then we're all about Link summoning now, because Pendulum summoning sucks. But yeah, Link summoning, you could basically, every deck's like almost like a combo deck, or it's a hate deck. Similar to, I know Jake understands Magic. So it's like every deck is typically a combo deck, or you have a deck that counters the combo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That's basically it. So it's aggro versus control.
Okay.
That's all it is.
It's like up to date Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, but the turns can basically end in 2 turns, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It could be a coin flip. It's like if you go first and you can counter what I'm gonna do on my second turn, then it's over.
Yeah.
If you go first and you don't, and I get to go second, then I get to like assemble a board and 1 turn kill you, or we play a game and it lasts more than like 5 turns. So that's kind of the competitive meta of it with the new cards. I think they're gonna do events though.
That leads me to my next question. Most free online trading card games have start to do seasons where they cycle out old cards and bring in new cards, because obviously if you were to just buy the
almost every card is available right now. Like any card that's ever existed in Yu-Gi-Oh, except for like some recent sets. But
yeah, so how are they going to shake up the meta? And to ask it more cynically, how are they going to encourage people to start spending money if you can?
Exactly. Well, right now, like as far as I progress, the gems have dried up a little bit, so I could see them trying to incentivize.
Yeah.
But there's only a ranked ladder, and they have a big update today, and on their like duel page, they have an events like page that it says like coming soon. So they're gonna have like some event archetypes, like maybe you play with certain cards, maybe you play like old style Yu-Gi-Oh. That'd be kind of great. And I think they're also talking about there's gonna be like certain ranks. Right now I'm like gold rank, which doesn't really mean much because you don't D rank until like past like bronze, silver, and all that. So, but you can they're gonna have like super competitive leagues. I think they're gonna have a more casual approach, because right now I played all the solo. Really, all I can do is just play ladder. And what they should do is do something similar, hopefully with like Hearthstone, where they have like a draft mode, like similar to what Legacy of Duelist had.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of great if I could just spend like my gems, do a draft, and play that way. So this is really early coming on, but it peaked right away, at least on Steam numbers. 250,000 concurrent viewers at a point. It's definitely dropped off since, because I feel like people like played it and were like, I definitely don't understand anything past tribute summoning.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like took me a while to figure out some combos, and then I had to watch some videos, and like I figured out like some of the types. Once you understand like the certain amount of cards, it's similar to like learning competitive Magic. That's how I see it. So it's very approachable. Terrible. Yeah, it's definitely like it could be bad.
Yeah.
But like as someone who's like played a lot of competitive Magic, I think this could be fun for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And I did like combo decks, so I'm playing some combo decks and they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I'm enjoying it.
The only game I was going to talk about really quick was I started playing Ocarina of Time on the Switch. I got the N64 pack.
Banjo released.
Released. Yeah, I think sometime this week. I think
this week.
Microsoft
Banjo
Kazooie. Yeah.
Yes.
It is. It's all right. It's like playing Ocarina of Time, but the screen is like 16:9.
It's not a proper.
It's not like, I don't know.
That's why I know you can't change it. You can't.
No, it's just 16:9 in the.
Well,
or not 16:9, 8:11.
If you had a certain emulator, you could change it, but
wait, are you saying it's just 4x3? It's just a
that's
square.
What I meant.
It's a 4x3. They kept it 4x3. Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought they had stretched it out, and you couldn't.
It's 4x3, but on the Switch, especially not on an OLED, it's pretty small.
Yeah.
And playing Ocarina of Time, like there's a lot to do. You cannot uninvert the controls. So Link's, when you look in like a bow or a slingshot, it's inverted.
Oh no!
So that's just a pain in the ass. And the C buttons are all used on the stick. So it's just like not well optimized.
It's not well emulated.
Yeah. So
optimized. That's a better word.
Yeah, like the controls.
C buttons on the stick.
Yeah, so like it just feels odd.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. It's Ocarina of Time. It's one of the best games of all time.
Well, you know what? If you buy, I think there's like a certain controller you could buy that would probably help with that. The Nintendo 64 Switch controller, right?
No, I don't know, because James, there's 3 prongs to it, and I have 2 hands, so like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird. But I'm excited. I'm excited to play more N64 stuff on it, and I'll kind of report back. But
yeah, I was playing Paper Mario, and it was working great.
Yeah,
there's not much in the controls there, but
yeah, I think
Paper Mario's great.
I'm excited to play Mario 64 on it because you controlled the camera with the C button, so I think controlling the camera with the C stick would be pretty awesome.
Actually, I did try it out Super Mario 64 really quick, and recent speedrunners don't even they use like an Xbox controller kind of thing, so that's perfect for it.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
Actually, no, they use the
Pro controller, right?
They use the Pro. Yeah, they use the Pro controller, which is
fantastic.
Similar.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm very intrigued by this emulation, and hopefully we get more and more in GameCube. So, and Majora's Mask comes out next month, so pretty into that.
Ooh, that's gonna be hard to play.
It's gonna be so hard to play.
I know.
That game's so hard.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for watching the 85th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James, and we will see you next week, unless my house floods. Bye.